What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video, and today we're going to be looking at some NHL trade rumors from Specters Hockey for October 3rd, something I want to do every single day, but of course I haven't been, and I definitely want to. So there's a lot of really cool updates in here. If you want to read it, it's down below. I link it always in the description box, so make sure to check that out. But if you're new to this channel and love NHL content daily, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it, but let's go. So basically this is starting off from a Sportsnet article, 31 Thoughts. Of course, you guys know Elliott Freeman, one of the best in the business, talking about Alex Pietrangelo and the St. Louis Blues possibly discussing a contract already, because the Blues have been busy. Of course, the defending Stanley Cup champions, but they also made that Falk trade, and that instantly, people looked at that and thought, okay, this is almost like a security blanket just in case Pietrangelo ends up going somewhere else, because he is an unrestricted free agent in July. Now, Friedman pointed out that Pietrangelo turns 30 in January, and his negotiations come at a time when teams are spending more on younger talent. And, being 30 years old, it's not like you're the oldest guy in the world. Like, clearly that's still a young age. In terms of just age, not just the game of hockey. But Pietrangelo is quite good. Now, Freeman also believes the Blues are taking a big run at re-signing Brayden Schenn, who is also an unrestricted free agent. So, listen, it's going to be tough for them to get both those guys under contract. And it even, it says here, they have $67 million invested in 16 players, which is obviously from Cap Friendly. It's difficult. Doug Armstrong's going to have to find ways to make a good move, and that's in the Specters. The Specters note here: if he wants to re-sign Pietrangelo and Brayden Schenn come next July, the Blues are going to have to make another move, because Pietrangelo is definitely going to be looking for big money. Look at the way some defensemen are being paid now. He's a guy that's a part of this leadership, obviously a leadership group. He's the captain. Like, this guy is incredible. He's a great guy who can put up points as well as play an all-around game. Now, whether or not the Blues are willing to go long-term on a contract is what's going to hurt these negotiations. But again, this is all just speculation, because who knows, by the time this video is uploaded, Pietrangelo and the Blues could be discussing a 7-year deal that takes him until he's 37 years old, and the Blues are like, well, we just won the Cup, he's part of our leadership group, we want to continue winning, and he's still going to be good for another 3-4 years, so we'll worry about those other years when it comes. But teams kind of have to worry about that. Like, towards the end of contracts is when you're really hurting yourself in terms of, the dollars being spent. But with the cap going up consistently, I don't know, maybe the Blues won't really care much. But the fact that they also are trying to keep Brayden Schenn, trying to sign him to a bigger deal, this could be difficult, because the Specters note says it here, but it's kind of common sense when you think of the contracts that are being handed out. If Pietrangelo wants a long-term deal, which you would figure he probably would at 30 years old, he could be looking for a pretty high number. It could be 9. I think it's more likely to be in the 8.5 range, but it could be 9+. Because if he wants the term, maybe his dollar amount goes down a little bit, but I can't see that happening depending on, what the free agent market's like. Because if there's teams that are going to be looking at Pietrangelo and thinking, okay, you know what, we kind of have to make this last move. We really want to go all in, and Pietrangelo can be that final piece to the puzzle for us. We don't care about what those numbers are going to look like later on, because this is our window to win. Teams might be willing to overspend a little bit to bring Pietrangelo aboard. And the same thing goes for Brayden Schenn, but it's looking more and more like the Brayden Schenn deal is something that could get done pretty quick, because if it's being discussed already, I think that Brayden Schenn and the Blues can come to terms on a pretty reasonable contract. And I do think they could with Pietrangelo as well, but with the way that big right-handed shot all-around defensemen are being paid, it could be a difficult sticking point, and he's also a little bit older. So all that information is going to keep being updated over time, so we'll have to keep a look at that. Next up is Elliott Freeman talking about Joshua Ho-Sang. So basically, Lou Lamoriello came out and obviously said that Ho-Sang didn't make the team, but he worked really hard and made a good effort to make the team, but ultimately he ended up on waivers where nobody claimed him. Now, I made a video on this, and I made a video on all the people that were on waivers. I, for one, thought that Ho-Sang was finally going to get claimed. I really thought there was a chance that teams would take a chance on him because, the talent's still there. There's something that hasn't really broke out with the Islanders, and I still believe Ho-Sang has it in him. But again, it's kind of those antics that kind of followed him at the beginning of his career that people might not want to take a flyer on him. But there's a lot of players in this league that teams have been taking a flyer on, and it's worked out. This is a low-risk move to me, and I'm not sure why teams wouldn't do it. But I honestly think eventually there's going to be some sort of trade. It's not going to be a big value trade where the Islanders get a bunch of money or a bunch of picks, but it's going to be like a mid pick and like some little prospect or something, some project. I just think Ho-Sang needs somewhere else to play. I don't know if he'll ever be an Islander. I don't think if he'll ever really fully make this team and play for an extended amount of time. I'd like to see him do that. I'd really like to see a really big sample size to see what he's got. But it's looking like right now that teams aren't willing to really take a shot at him. And in the Spectre's note here, it says it's been 5 years since he's been drafted in the first round, 28th overall, 2014 NHL draft. Different coaches have come through, different GMs have come through, and nothing's happened. He hasn't been on the squad, and it's kind of concerning. The Islanders don't seem to have a spot for him, and some of those years he just hasn't been able to crack the lineup. So we'll have to see where that goes as well. Now, moving on, the Edmonton Oilers GM Ken Holland indicated that things are quiet with the Jesse Puljujarvi trade front. Now, I was listening to this while I think it was in an intermission report with the Canucks and Oilers. I'm pretty sure it was in that intermission. It might have been the Leafs game, but I can't remember everything. There was so much hockey on. I was super excited. Can't remember what intermission it was on, but I did watch when something happened there. But it's looking more and more like Puljujarvi, the Oilers might be able to honor his trade request. So basically, we know that Jesse Puljujarvi has been playing in Finland right now, and he wants a fresh start. He wants to be away from the Edmonton Oilers. We'll have to see if this trade request ends up being fulfilled. God, man, I'd just love to speak proper English one day. But I don't know what's going to happen here. If I'm being honest with you guys, I'm kind of getting fed up with Puljujarvi and the Oilers not being able to make something work. They need forwards. They need guys to play there. Puljujarvi doesn't want to play there, it looks like. I believe Ken Holland had a meeting with him. And eventually their trade request is going to be fulfilled because he's going to be playing well over time in Finland. Like, he's already had a decent start to his season. So that trade request will be fulfilled. It's just when, and where will he end up, So hopefully this ends up getting, fulfilled very soon. I'd rather see him in the Oilers lineup, but the trade's going to have to happen eventually. And it looks like, with him continuing to play good in Finland, that's going to be done probably pretty soon. The Oilers have until December 1st to re-sign Puljujarvi, or he'll become ineligible to play the remainder of the NHL season. So keep in mind, that's why I'm saying it could be fulfilled sooner than later. I don't think the Oilers want to wait until they have to make like a last-minute decision there. I think they'd rather have a conclusion at December 1st. They don't want him just playing in Finland. I think they'd rather have him in the NHL with them or get an asset for him, especially if the Oilers can find ways to win games this year. So just some quick notes here on the Arizona Coyote. Elliott Freeman also mentioned because of the signing of Darcy Kemper, which seems like a decent contract. I believe it was $4.5 million on his AAV. They also claimed Eric Comrie, and they already have Antti Ranta and Aiden Hill, who Aiden Hill is a guy that I think that the Coyotes really like. And Ranta's also a guy, he was their starter and he was pretty good. But if he can't stay healthy, I'm wondering if they look at Kemper as a guy that's going to be the guy that's pushed to the forefront a little bit there. So we'll see. We'll update it because there's not a ton of news on what's going to happen there. But with that many goalies, you kind of wonder if they don't, you don't want to keep some talent. Some of this talent can be in the AHL. It makes sense. But when you have 2 or 3 guys that have the potential to at least be a very, very good goaltender in the NHL, you're not going to be able to keep all these guys. You want to use those additional assets to get something else for your team. The last thing is also talking just a couple quick things. Freeman believes the New Jersey Devils looked at defenseman Mark Pysyk as well as The Dallas Stars are still seeking a trade for Julius Honka. They're looking for a second or third rounder or a prospect. So they're looking for something that at least has a little bit of value that is kind of close to Honka, which makes a lot of sense. Maybe he'll be part of a package eventually. I'm sure the Stars want to get that done. And the New Jersey Devils, they seem to be making moves all summer, and now they're pulling that into the fall. They want to be a good team. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Join the squad. Let's get to 7,000 subscribers. Make sure to click the link down below to read the Specters Hockey article. I appreciate you guys as always, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.